Hey everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Let's dive right into the latest drama unfolding in the Lingxiao sect. Yandan, ever so resourceful, showed up with 2 bottles of fine wine to say goodbye to her senior brother. But of course, he wasn't just going to let her leave. He brought up marriage again, but Yandan, quick on her feet, used Tangzhou's imprisonment as the perfect excuse to say no. Instead, she coaxed him into a drinking session. Knowing he can't hold his liquor, she waited for him to pass out, which didn't take long at all. With her senior brother sound asleep, she swiped the key to the demon subduing hall right off him. Mission accomplished! Once inside, she found Danshu and the others locked away. She freed them immediately, giving Danshu a crucial message for you. If she wasn't back in 15 days, he needed to come and get her. Danshu was reluctant to leave her behind, insisting on staying to help. But Yandan made him a promise. She'd be back in time for his birthday. That was enough to convince him, and he left, leaving Yandan to her next big plan. She then found the tiger demon and his buddies, asking for their help to rescue Tangzhou.
They were more than happy to join in on the scheme. Yandan's plan was nothing short of brilliant.
She decided to set a controlled fire in the demon's subduing hall and have the demons stage a fake attack on the mountain. The goal: to create a perfect scenario where Tangzhou could swoop in, save the day, and earn some major points with the sect. She managed to meet with Tangzhou secretly and fill him in on all the details. Tangzhou, the strategist, told her to give the sect leader a heads up so he could hide safely before the attack began. Soon enough, the tiger demon led his forces up the mountain, and all chaos broke loose. The Lingxiao sect demon catchers clashed with the demon army in a spectacular, albeit staged, battle. But things started to get a little too real. The tiger demon, seeing a chance for personal revenge, tried to take out Yandan's senior brother. Luckily, Tangzhou arrived just in the nick of time and saved him. Yandan started to panic, realizing the demons were taking their acting roles a bit too seriously. The pretend fight was escalating into a genuine out-of-control battle. In the midst of the chaos, Qinqi was fighting with everything she had, but was getting overwhelmed. Yandan, seeing her friend in trouble, rushed to help. In her haste, her precious Chenhua hairpin fell to the ground. Tangzhou saw it, and without a moment's hesitation, he picked it up. Just then, the tiger demon decided to improvise and grabbed Yandan, holding her hostage. Big mistake. Tangzhou, displaying his incredible power, subdued the tiger demon with almost no effort. With some teamwork, he and Yandan managed to capture all the rampaging demons. The sect leader was beyond impressed. He praised Tangzhou for his skill in subduing the demons and, as a reward, completely forgave him for his past mistakes. The senior brother, still bitter, tried to report Tangzhou for the whole mess, but Yandan jumped in, spinning a completely believable lie. She claimed she was just curious, opened Tangzhou's gourd, and accidentally let out a few little demons. The sect leader bought her story hook, line, and sinker, and the matter was dropped. What a close call. Later, Tangzhou returned the Chenhua hairpin to Yandan. In a quiet, meaningful moment, he gently placed it back in her hair himself. Yandan was truly touched. She realized he was different from all the other rigid demon catchers. She couldn't stop praising him, calling him a good man over and over. Seeing him as a true friend now, she cheekily asked for a reward for all her help. Tangzhou just ignored her, completely unfazed. He also made it clear he had zero interest in becoming the next sect leader. Yandan, ever the teaser, playfully guessed that his real ambition was to get married and have a family. Her words hit a nerve, and Tangzhou became flustered and awkward, which was hilarious to see. Now that the excitement was over, Yandan was ready to leave the Lingxiao sect for good. But Tangzhou had other plans. He quickly drew talisman seals all around the room, effectively trapping her inside. Realizing she wasn't going anywhere, Yandan just shrugged, sat down, and started happily munching on the pastries he had bought for her. If she was going to be a prisoner, she might as well be a well-fed one. Meanwhile, far away from all this drama, Kyolin was using all of her spiritual power to heal Yumo. Her efforts paid off. And he was completely restored to his former strength. As he recovered, she couldn't help but ask about his time with Yandan in the mortal realm. Umo's answer was both sweet and heartbreaking. He admitted that those days with Yandan were the happiest he had ever been, even happier than his time in the heavens. Hearing this crushed Kaolan, especially since she was about to be married to Ao Xuan. Umo, sensing her distress and knowing Ao Juan's nature, gave her a serious warning to be careful around her future husband. The plot thickens. So, Tangzhou has Yandan trapped, but he's also taking care of her. Princess Kaolan heard that Imo was going to rescue Yandan, and she insisted on joining him. But Imo was worried. He knew that if Prince Ao Xuan found out, he would surely cause trouble, and it could bring disaster to her father and the entire South Sea. Seeing Yumo's determination, Kyolin made a difficult choice. She painfully ripped off her own reverse Skelda, most precious and vital treasure of her clan, and tried to give it to Yumo for his protection. Umo, knowing how crucial it was to her, refused to accept it.
But Kaolin wouldn't take no for an answer.
She forcefully embedded the scale into his body, her eyes filled with worry as she wished him success in saving Yandan. Meanwhile, back at the Lingxiao sect, Tangzhou brought a bowl of medicine to Yandan. Seeing her weakness, he sat by her bed and carefully fed it to her. Spoonful by spoonful. The sect leader happened to walk by and witnessed this tender moment. A flicker of concern crossed his face. He was worried that the formal inheritance ceremony, just for him. He gifted Tangzhou a powerful magic ring, a symbol of his new responsibilities. With a grave tone, he reminded Tangzhou that from this day forward, he must sever all worldly attachments and focus solely on his duty. Tangzhou's heart was in turmoil. He had developed feelings for Yandan, but he also couldn't bear to disappoint his master, who had placed so much faith in him. After a long and painful inner struggle, he finally accepted the ring, his face a mask of conflict. Just as Tangzhou and Yandan were setting off for the capital, Umo arrived at the gates of the Lingxiao sect. He found one of the senior disciples and immediately asked for Yandan. When he learned she had already left for the capital with Tangzhou, a storm gathered in his eyes. Without a moment's hesitation, he raced off in pursuit. In the capital, Umo arrived at a bustling inn. He quickly discovered it was packed with demon catchers from all over, all responding to the king's summons. They were all waiting to enter the palace the next day. As Yumo settled in, a familiar sensation warmed his wrist. The lotus mark, the one connecting him to Yandan, began to glow faintly. He could feel her presence nearby, and an irrepressible smile spread across his face. Strange occurrences were connected to the demon they were hunting. As they walked through the palace gardens, Yandan noticed something strange. The ground was covered in a blanket of beautiful white flowers. For anyone else, it might have been a pretty sight, but Yandan recognized it instantly. This was the work of a powerful demon. When they returned to their inn, they walked right into Yumo.
Yandan's face lit up with pure joy.
She rushed over to him, bombarding him with 1,000 questions, her voice filled with relief and excitement.
Yumo, in turn, looked her over from head to toe, checking for any injuries, his brow furrowed with concern.
Seeing her protector had arrived, Yandan immediately seized the opportunity. She started complaining about Tangzhou, exaggerating every little thing he did, painting him as a cold and difficult travel companion. Yumo's expression darkened. He declared he was taking her away immediately and would settle the score with Tangzhou later. But Tangzhou wasn't about to let that happen. He stepped forward, blocking their path, and a tense confrontation began. Umo, protective and furious, didn't back down an inch. The air crackled with tension as the two men faced off. Their argument quickly escalated into a fierce fight. Spells flew, and swords clashed, neither one willing to yield. Yandan watched in panic, terrified they would seriously hurt each other. She jumped between them, finally admitting she had exaggerated her complaints. She explained that Tangzhou had actually been very good to her, but Yumo was too fired up to listen. His pride was wounded, and he was determined to prove he was stronger than Tangzhou. Seeing that her words were useless, Yan Dan threw her hands up in exasperation and stormed off, leaving them to their pointless duel. A little while later, she came up with a plan. She went out and bought their favorite food and a few jugs of good wine, hoping a shared meal would help them reconcile. But as she walked back towards the inn, a sinister figure emerged from the shadows. It was Ying. Before Yan Dan could even react, Ying Dong struck, and everything went black. Back at the inn, the fight between Tangzhou and Yumo had finally died down, replaced by a tense silence. When Yan Dan didn't return, they grew worried and went to look for her.
What they found sent a chill down their spines.
On the empty street lay the spilled food, shattered wine jugs, and among the debris, a single, wilting lotus petal. They knew instantly she was in grave danger. Panic set in, and they began searching frantically, calling out her name. Meanwhile, Yingdong had dragged the unconscious Yandan to a hidden location. Her face was twisted with resentment as she spewed a torrent of grievances from their time in the heavenly realm. She blamed everyone but herself for the punishments she had received. Punishments that were clearly the consequences of her own wicked actions. By the time Tangzhou and Yumo finally tracked them down, it was too late. Under Yingdang's cruel power, Yandan had been forced to reveal her true form, a beautiful, multi-petaled lotus, shimmering weakly in the dim light. Finally tracked down Yandan. They find her, but she's in a terrible state. She's been poisoned, and her precious demon core has been shattered. Umo, using his own power, manages to cure the poison, but the damage is done. Yandan is so weak she can't even maintain her human form.
Umo is frantic.
He wants to immediately take her back to the safety of Helen Mountain, believing the sacred hot springs there can help her heal. But Tangzhou puts his foot down. He refuses to leave. He is convinced that the same person who has been causing all the strange anomalies in the palace is also the one who attacked Yandan. He's not leaving Andu until he finds the real culprit and makes them pay. Just as the two are about to come to blows, a weak voice stops them. It's Yandan. Despite her condition, she agrees with Tangzhou. She also wants to see this evil demon who's causing so much chaos in the mortal world. She turns to Yumo, urging him to unleash the full power of the king of all demons to investigate.
Ever the optimist, she confidently tells them not to worry, that her demon core will recover eventually.
She's already planning to write this entire misadventure into her next book, The Record of the Mortal World. Her spirit and determination finally get the two rivals to calm down and agree to work together. Just then, a messenger arrives from the king of Andu. A demon has been spotted in the palace. Umo and Tangzhou, with the tiny, flower-form Yandan in tow, rush to the scene. They arrive to find Yingdong and his demon catchers surrounding Jian. Weakened by the poison, she fights desperately, but is no match for them. She's quickly subdued.
As she lies on the ground,
On the verge of death.
she makes a shocking confession. She claims she was the one who killed all the missing girls.
As her life fades,
Her mind drifts back to a rainy day long ago.
she was just a small epiphyllum flower, injured and alone. A young Palua found her and gently shielded her from the rain with his umbrella. Later, when he lost his money pouch, she transformed to retrieve it for him. It was love at first sight, a pure and simple connection. The memory of that beautiful past, contrasted with her current suffering, is too much to bear. It tears her apart. In her final moments, all she wants is for Paluo to hold her one last time. He takes a step toward her, his face a mask of conflict, but the demon catchers sternly warn him to stay away from the monster. He hesitates, then turns his back and walks away. With that final act of betrayal, Jungchen's body dissolves into a shower of glowing ash, vanishing forever. Umo, Tangzhou, and Yandan witness her tragic end, and their hearts are heavy with sorrow. Yandan, who understands the nature of demons, refuses to believe Zhangchen would ever harm anyone. Tangzhou, ever the sharp demon hunter, senses something is off. He notes that Zhengqian had barely any demonic power left in her when she died, certainly not enough to commit those murders. The real culprit is still out there. His eyes then fall upon the epiphyllum flowers in the palace garden. They're thriving, blooming with an unnatural, almost eerie vitality. He suspects a powerful spell is at work. Yandan, ever the mediator, steps in to broker a truce between Yumo and Tangzhou. She convinces them that they must work together to find the true fiend, not just for justice, but to clear Jiangqin's name. Their first move is to confront Palu, but he's already made his decision. He summons the demon catchers and publicly denounces Jiangqin, painting her as a vicious monster who brought disaster upon the people. Yumo, disguised as a senior disciple from the Lingxiao sect, steps forward to challenge this narrative. He argues for her innocence and pleads with Paluo to seek the real culprit. For a moment, Paluo seems to waver, a flicker of doubt in his eyes.
Later, in Jiangqin's old quarters, Yumo discovers a small wooden box sealed with a powerful spell.
Paluo reveals that he knows about the box. It was Zhangqian's final keepsake for him. Seeing Yumo and Tanju's determination, Paluo's resolve seems to crumble. He tells them to meet him at midnight in the rear garden, promising to discuss the matter further. As the clock strikes midnight, Tangzhou and Yumo arrive at the designated spot. The garden is dark and silent. They wait, and then Paluo appears. But something is wrong. His eyes are cold, and he's not alone. He's followed by a shadowy figure. What has Paluo planned for them? Has he laid a trap? Or has he finally decided to reveal the truth? We'll have to find out next time. Thanks for watching. If you're enjoying this recap, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss the next thrilling episode. See you then.